And welcome to Hero Power. This is episode 58, and I am your host, Avantes. And as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, Zeroshio.
And I don't feel like death warmed over this week.
Well, there's a first time for everything, I guess. And Versika.
You mean we have to listen to him at full strength?
That's
right.
100% Zeroshio.
To sig Zeroshio. 50% of Zeroshio is good. I guess 100% is better, but 50% of Zeroshio is good.
Yeah, 50% Zeroshio is about as much as anybody can stand, right? 50% of zero is still too much.
There you go.
It's still zero. 50% of zero is still zero because math.
Oh, math. Do we really have to math? I thought we were here for Hearthstone. All right.
There is plenty of math in Hearthstone, especially if you're playing against, pirates.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. Before we get going, Versika, why don't you tell us about our friends over at Viforce?
So I am anxiously awaiting delivery of my Viforce machine.
Oh, you got it ordered?
Yes, I completed the ordering process and working out the shipping details this morning. I'm super excited. I can't say enough about the ease of the ordering experience, and it's not just me. I mean, they treated me like a regular customer, so it's been easy, and I have a lot of questions. I ask a lot of questions. I want to know what I'm getting, and I'm very particular about certain things, and they were patient with me, and they even came back with one of my requests. It didn't quite work out the way that we had talked about, so they came back with an alternative, and before they did anything, they made sure I was okay with the alternative and even sent me a photo of what it would look like. And I mean, this is the type of customer service that you're not going to get other places. This is why you should shop at Viforce Gaming. So I can actually say this now. Do what I did. Upgrade your rig. Go to ViforceGaming.com. Check out their stuff. If they don't have exactly what you want, tell them what you want to do and how much you want to spend, and they'll set you up with a system that fits you.
All right. Awesome. Well, this week we've got some exciting news for us. We picked up 2 new patrons this week. So we'd like to throw a huge shout out and thank you to Blackrot for joining us, and to Boyd, a.k.a. Mr. Nasty.
Mr. Nasty, or as Vestidius likes to call him over at Legend of the Innkeeper, Mr. N45TY, because I don't want to say that word.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, just real quick, not to derail us, if you did not watch Legend of the Innkeeper last night, you need to watch this week's show. It was a great show.
I know.
It was a good time, and just check it out after.
Yeah. Absolutely. Check out this week's Legend of the Innkeeper. Great show. Speaking of Legend of the Innkeeper, we have a new iTunes review this week from the one and only Arianwen. And she states, I cannot believe I haven't left a review before. I love this podcast so much. Besides having great insight, not only are the hosts amazing to listen to, they've also become my very good friends through the show. These guys personally helped to raise money for me to have eye surgery. Not only a fantastic show, but also an amazing community. Hearthstone community is a big deal to me, and these guys nail that. Love from Ari. Well, Ari, thank you so much for the review. We greatly appreciate it. And just to give you guys a little bit of backstory, Arianwen used to be one of the co-hosts of Legend of the Innkeeper, and back 2 years ago now, I guess.
Yep.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Yeah.
June
of 2015.
June. Yeah, June 20, because I remember, because it was right around both of our birthday buddies.
They did a 24-hour live stream to raise money for Ari to have eye surgery, and Zeroshio took part in that and helped to raise money. We kind of hung out and chat with them while they played, and it was a great time and good benefit. And Ari got her eye surgery.
24 hours with Espo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to give you
I
a
think
little
it was more
background,
Espo having 24 hours with you.
oh, fair enough. That's where the whole wingman title has come from, is me being his wingman for the 24-hour stream. Just to give you a little insight, Arion had a rare condition called esotropia, and that's basically a muscle deformity in the eye that causes double vision. She wasn't able to drive. She had trouble going up inclines like steps or even curbs, so she had to have assistance walking sometimes. To do anything that involved the computer, she had to have a special setup so that she could do what she wanted to do. And her biggest desire was to be a 3D graphic artist, which is very hard to do with such a debilitating, condition. Fortunately, there was a surgery that could correct it, but we had to come up with $5,000 that they'd have to pay out of their pocket to do it, and we were able to do that. And now she's gone on to a successful career as a 3D graphic artist for a video game company. So I'm really proud of her. She's kind of like my little niece. Her and her sister both. She has a special place in my heart. I kind of teared up a bit when I read this review, and I can't express how much I appreciate this, Ari. I really do.
Yeah. So, all right. So there you go. That's the story. That's how we kind of came to be so close with Legend of the Innkeeper. We really like working with them, and anything we can do to help.
That's what scratched my itch to get into podcasting. And literally the week after, we were just talking about this on pre-show. Avantes and Versika said, "Hey, we want to do a podcast for Hearthstone. Are you game?" I said, "Yes. It just has to be called Hero Power."
So there you go. All right. So, gentlemen, we are 6 days into the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. So
real quick, before we get into that, let's talk about Patron for a little bit.
Okay, sure.
So we've reached our first patron goal, which not only was to get the tournament up and going, but we've been saying for a while that if we reach the $100 patron goal, that we were going to be giving away a prize each month.
Yes.
We are still going to do that.
Okay.
It's just not going to happen at the first of the month. It'll happen at the end of the month. So, just to let everyone know, I actually had that question asked earlier today from one of the listeners that listened to the show but haven't quite jumped on the Patreon bandwagon yet, and they're trying to get caught up and trying to get everything there. So, question number 1 out of the way. Number 2, is the $200 patron goal really to have Avantes grow a beard? Yes. How long will he keep it? Until we say otherwise.
Wow.
No.
We being the patrons.
No, seriously. We have to all agree that he has successfully grown a beard.
So he has to grow a beard and successfully maintain a beard for 2 weeks or a month.
No. We'll just say he has to get to beard status and do at least one show.
It's going to take him like a
beard
year
status.
and a half.
I know. Shush. You're giving away my secrets. Okay. So,
why can't we just have like a normal patron goal, like, an extra show or a call-in episode or something? Why does it have to be me growing a beard?
Our patrons don't want that. Evidently, they don't want that.
For several shows now, everyone that we've had on, minus Ziggy, who we don't want to see grow a beard, has had a beard. You do not have a beard, sir.
Well, that's not true. There was one.
One of these things is not like the other.
There is one, but I don't think he could. It's Joster.
Yeah, well,
and I don't know if Joster has the hormones to grow a beard yet.
That's been a while back. So, the other thing, and this is something else that I wanted to bring up. Yes, I'm serious about dyeing my beard if we reach $400 patron goal. I will dye the beard and hair Frodan-esque once again for a show. No glitter though. The wife nixed the glitter. There is no glitter. glitter has been banned in our house. Actually,
Even with
period.
Bahoshi's / Nazgod, same guy. Even with his suggestion of liquid cement, you put on the
even with the resin, I may get some ornaments to hang in it, but no glitter. So just putting that out there. Yes, those are realistic, or yes, those are real patron goals. It doesn't mean that we won't add other patron goals in with them. Those are just fun goals that if we get there, we get there.
Poor Avadi's over there shaking his head. What did I get myself into?
It's time.
Bad beer may be a thing.
Let's time travel back.
Let's
time travel back to that Burger King meeting and just say no now.
Speaking of what to get into, I got into some craziness with Mean Streets of Gadgetzan this weekend. How about you guys?
Yes.
It's been a fun 6 days.
I was going to say, it seems like it's been longer than 6 days since we last did a show, because there has been a lot going on. I
know I streamed a lot this weekend, and did a lot of got a lot of milestones. So if you don't mind me taking a step in, I jumped on first off, I did all the Mean Street stuff, which tanked my rank all the way from 17 to 20, trying to do all those quests for packs. And then I jumped on the Pirate Warrior bandwagon, Pirates for the win, and I went from rank 20 to 11 in a day. And then hit rank 8 the next day. Nice. And then by the end of the week, by the end of the weekend, I was very, very close to Golden Warrior. And then Monday night, I got the last 5 wins I needed and got my Golden Warrior, which is my 5th Golden Hero.
Congratulations.
So I've had a very accomplished weekend. I've done some experimental decks, and I also tried our deck that we're playing this week. So my rank fell back a bit. I'm at 14 now, but I have a lot of confidence that I can bring that back up when I put some effort into it.
Cool. Versika, what have you done since we last were on the air?
I've played a lot of Hearthstone, really. Like Zeroshio. I wasn't quite as high as Zeroshio, so I started the season at a little lower rank, worked my way up to 15. But during the process, I was experimenting with a lot of decks, lost all the way back down into 0 stars and 20, and then worked my way all the way back up to 15. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. I think I've played all the archetypes now. I played through, of course, the quest to get the free packs. And then I've tried to play at least the essence of what each of the different groups have to offer for each of the 9 different classes. And I've tried to play them competitively on the ladder to see, number one, if I could find a counter meta with any of them to help me climb faster, or just seeing if there was anything out there I really like. And actually, I landed on a few things that I really liked. So it's been fun. I've played a lot of Jade Lotus and a lot of Cabal.
Okay. Well, I if you guys didn't know, or if you weren't patrons, you might not have heard, but we recorded all of our pack openings on last Thursday, and we uploaded them to YouTube for our patrons. Well, Monday of this week, we flipped the switch and made those all available to everybody, open to the public. So you can go to our YouTube channel and watch all of our pack openings. And basically, as soon as I finished opening packs, I started experimenting because I was really excited for the whole Singleton Reno Cabal. Surprisingly, I was going into it. I had been talking up Grimy Goons because I was really excited about the way the Grimy Goons buffs work, and I still am. I've been watching Batstone. We'll talk about that again here in a minute, but I've been watching Batstone. Watching how these Grimy Goons mechanics work just blows me away. But the first thing I did was I built a Reno Dragon Priest deck and just immediately started playing with it, and went from, because it's, was the first day of the new season, so I went from like rank 21 all the way up to like rank 16 really fast. Nice. With the Reno Dragon Priest. And then I switched over and built the deck that we're going to be playing tonight. It was originally created and developed by Eloise, and I had so much fun with it. I was looking for something that was looked like a good, fun shaman deck that went around the Jade Golems, and this is where I came up with this deck. Watched her play it. I built it. Immediately went like 4-0 with it. And then I was like, okay, I have to show this to our shaman experts. So I went over, talked to Versika, who was, before I could even get the words out of my mouth, he was like, no, wait, you have to come see this. And so he takes me to his computer and he's like, watch, and shows me a rogue deck that he'd been tinkering with, which we're going to show you guys next week. So we exchanged deck lists. I gave him the shaman deck list. He gave me the rogue deck list. And that's what we have for you guys this week and next week. So I'm excited. Can't wait for you guys to see them. But I'm really digging this new meta right now. Really, really digging this new meta. So, all right.
I really like these new decks that are coming out of this archetype. I unfortunately don't have the cards for the Cabal decks that are coming out, a lot of Singleton decks, because they are kind of legend heavy and epic heavy, and I'm missing a lot of epics. But I've really gotten into both the Jade Lotus decks and all of the Grimy Goons style decks. Those have really been a lot of fun. And then, of course, that fourth archetype, the Pirates, which kind of is its own thing. And pirates can be played with multiple classes. I've seen pirate rogue, pirate warrior, pirate shaman. I've even seen pirate paladin. So it's pretty cool to see the effect that these new cards have had on the meta.
Yeah, careful. Nibble Swap, our good friend Nibble Swap's in chat. He gets triggered when you mention pirates. So.
oh, sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, pirates. Let's talk about pirates for a minute. So. One of the things I like about this expansion is that there really is something for everyone. And they're all effective. Like, I feel for the first time since really beta, there's enough deck archetypes out there that if you can't find something that you like, you probably aren't going to be happy with anything Hearthstone has to offer. Because right now they're all competitive and there's a way to play the way you want to play. And that's something that we've not had for a long time. We've had a very aggro-centric meta, and I feel like this is the first time that pretty much all the classes have some form of answer and can allow you to get back in the game if you're willing to tech for it, and so on and so forth. So pirates, it's funny. I started, kind of tinkering around with Pirate Warrior, and so I was just like, okay, this seems really easy. Either I really have the hang of this and I need to ride this for a long time, or this is just too easy. So I did a little experiment. I played 5 games where I only played the card to the right, the furthest card to the right that I could cast. That was the only card I played. I won
What?
4 out of 5 games.
Furthest to the right, meaning the one you top decked?
Yes.
You can literally play that deck just by playing whatever you top deck and win. That's what he's saying.
This is Pirate Warrior you're talking about.
Yes.
I don't know if I agree because and I say this from some experience because as of when Mean Streets released, I had 404 wins with Warrior, and by Monday night I had 500. I got my golden. I had to make some decisions with the deck. There was some trading involved, especially in the mirror match. I don't know if it's definitely not the most difficult to pilot, but I wouldn't say it's like Face Hunter level of dumbness.
Well, I wouldn't call it dumbness. Like I said, I think there's something in this expansion for everyone. And I think Pirate is a great way, if you're just looking to get into Hearthstone, Pirate Warrior is a great way right now to get in and climb on the ladder and have a deck that's effective and teaches you how to manage your resources and
True.
and a deck that's very forgiving if you happen to mess up. And then there's other ways to counter it. And Nibbleswap in chat was talking about mid-range Shaman as a great counter to the current meta. It really, mid-range Shaman was so powerful in the last meta, I think, because so many people played aggro anyway. Part of what I feel like made mid-range Shaman so good is that most of its matchups were against aggro decks, which with its 4 board clears made that a very manageable board state, and the other classes couldn't really do that. But now that you have so many different classes and archetypes being played, mid-range Shaman is quite a bit more difficult to pilot because it doesn't do well against the Reno decks. It doesn't do well against the heavy control decks. And in a lot of ways, it struggles against a lot of those Grimy Goon decks, which buff those minions in hand. And it has a hard time choosing when to use those board clears. And I mean, even a spell-powered Maelstrom Portal isn't going to do a lot to a board full of 3/3s.
Yeah, to kind of key off that, I've seen this new meta coming out. The new meta that's been formed from Mean Streets is you have people that have gone heavy aggro. Then you have people that have gone heavy control with these Cabal, very control-y Warlock, Priest, or Mage Cabal decks. And then the other classes that aren't really going aggro or control have kind of taken their mid-range and either pushed it a little bit towards control or pulled it down towards aggro. It's kind of split the archetypes, and I don't think there really is a true mid-range anymore. It's kind of like a teched out mid-range to counter aggro or a teched out mid-range to counter control. And I really like that. I think it's healthy for the game. The only exception is I believe that the Paladin deck is a true mid-range. And only because it's basically an aggro deck that buffs itself in the hand to make it a mid-range deck.
Yeah, and I watched that deck in action today, actually.
Really cool.
Eloise was playing it in Batstone, and I mean, she was buffing her minions so fast, she got a kill with like a 10-5 or 10-6 Leroy. I mean, she just buffed him up huge and then blasted him down in the face. I mean, it was great. And I think See Me No More in chat has it. Reno Lock is so strong right now it's got to be, if it's not, one of the top 2 or 3 decks in the meta. And we may revisit. We've talked about Reno Lock before in the past, but we may revisit it in our next cycle and see what it looks like now post Mean Streets.
And here's the thing about Reno Lock. I was kind of worried that a lot of these Cabal decks are kind of go the wayside when Standard changes, and basically saying enjoy them now because when Standard changes, things are going to change. I think this Reno Lock can survive without Reno. It'll have to be some tech changes, and we'll have to see some cards come out in the new set coming this spring that kind of takes that role. The new Reno Priest can definitely run without Reno. I actually saw somebody run one purposely without Reno because he'd be leaving the meta, and they put in that, I think it's a 4-mana heal a friendly character for 12.
Oh, the greater potion?
The potion. Yeah.
So, I mean, that basically is about right where you're at with Reno, especially if you get any kind of healing buff synergy or anything like that. They'll Prophet Velen in there or something. So I really can see the Singleton deck sticking around even after Reno's gone.
I think all 3 of the Singleton Cabal decks right now have a legitimate shot of still being effective once Reno leaves. If anything, I think it may make them just a little more aggressive and a little bit harder to handle because you're not going to have the time that you have with a Reno deck. Reno decks usually take so long to develop that you push, then there's a lull, and then you push again. With these new Reno decks, once you take Reno out, they're going to be trying to gain momentum and trying to push back. And I think that's going to make for a better game state. But I don't think it's going to necessarily impact their effectiveness.
I'll tell you one thing that's really excited me is watching Disguised Toast. If you haven't watched him since he's started streaming now, unmasked, as he likes to say it, it is an awesome stream. He really tries out some very crazy archetypes, crazy decks. He made a combo druid deck that was Coon Cthulhu that played the new Coon card, which is the 10 mana 7/7 that choose one, gain 10 armor, or restore all of your mana crystals. And basically it's Aviana, him out, restores all his mana crystals, starts throwing down big threats, uses Brewmasters to bounce his Cthulhu back, Coon back to his hand, throw him back out again, usually with a Fandral in play, so he gets both the armor and the mana reset crystals, and does a various set of combos, whether it be with Jade cards or with Cthulhu interaction, and then throwing out a huge Cthulhu that does a bunch of damage. Then he bounces the Cthulhu back to his hand and puts him back out for another 1 mana. It's ridiculous, and it's a lot of fun. I like the way Druids go into more of a combo-centric and not just the Malygos Burn combo, but other types of combos. Mm-hmm. And it makes me want to get back into Druid once I can get all the cards.
Well, it's kind of going away from the OTK because now you have to manage the board state better. And that's one of the other things I really like about this expansion is emphasis on managing the board state. Because if you don't manage the board state in this expansion, you will lose.
Yeah, and it's not all about spells or even battle cries to clear the board. Sometimes you have to establish a good sizable set of minions on your side to then trade. And then you have to make the decision once they load their board up, do I go ahead and go face and try to burn him down and race him, or do I need to make value trades and kind of manage that board state? So I was afraid that with all the board flood, especially with the Jade Golems, that it would just be whoever gets the bigger board faster wins. But that's not the case because there's a lot of trading and other spells and removal that also puts out Jade Golems. So you're not just using spells to clear the board, then you have no board. You lose tempo. There's so much tempo in this set that I'm just excited for the next big tournament, Blizzard sanctioned tournament, to see what goes on. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I was watching Batstone today, and I saw a really cool combo. You guys were just talking about having multiple minions on the board, and I really kind of enjoyed seeing Dirty Rat played, because if you're not familiar, Dirty Rat pulls, when it comes into play, pulls a minion out of your opponent's hand onto the board. Well, the play today was Dirty Rat. The opponent had 3 minions on the board, so he played Dirty Rat, pulled a 4th, and then played Mind Control Tech, which is just awesome because it gives you a free minion. The other thing that our chat was just talking about is if your opponent has a full board, you can brand Dirty Rat into Mind Control Tech, and take 2 minions off the board. So there's just some really crazy things you can do with all kinds of awesome synergies with these Mean Streets cards, and I'm really digging the new meta. I can't say it enough. It's really becoming a fun place to play.
Yeah, and seeing some of these innovative combos with these decks, it just makes this set just fun. And I still think we have not cracked the potential of this set.
No, not even close.
I made a Druid deck yesterday that's basically a spin-off Egg Druid where I just flood the board with really small minions, use Pilfered Power to get like 3 or 4 extra mana crystals on turn like 3, which is like puts me at turn 4 with like 7 or 8 mana.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And then I turn into Nourishes, which draws all my cards. I don't have the one that draws cards for draws 2 cards, and if they're minions, they're cheaper. I don't have that one yet, and I want to put that in there. But the deck needs some refining, but I'm really excited to play it, and I might stream some of that this weekend if I can get it refined well enough that it starts winning at a higher rate.
I'll tell you.
Now that card was bugged until either today or they're working on it today. So I actually wasn't playing it because it didn't work the way that I thought it should work. And
talking about Pilfered Power?
Yeah, the fix that they're applying to Pilfered Power is going to make it work the way it's supposed to work. So,
well, it gave you your crystals properly, but it wasn't giving you the excess mana if you did it at 10 mana with a minion in play.
So,
right,
it is supposed
Innervate.
to. So no, like Wild Growth. So it is supposed to give you an excess mana card.
And it does. I tested it today.
Okay.
But you have to have a minion in play for it to actually. I even tried it without a minion in play just because I was losing the game at that point. I was like, let's just see if this does it before I concede, just for some science.
Well, that's good to know.
And it doesn't give you the excess mana. But it does give you excess mana. If you're at 10 mana already and you have a minion in play, it will give you the excess mana so you get to draw a card.
Awesome. Okay.
But it was broken yesterday and didn't do it.
Cool. That's good to know. That's very good to know. Because let me tell you, one of my favorite... I've never been a big Druid player. But one of my all-time favorite Druid decks that we ever did on this show was back episode 14... when we did Egg Druid. And to see Egg Druid kind of come back really excites me. I like to see these decks cycle out and then cycle back in the future and be just a lot of fun to play.
The great thing about Egg Druid now is there's such an emphasis on trading. So if you can get your eggs, the dragon egg that draws a card, or no, dragon egg makes the well.
2/1, yeah.
And then which one's a one?
Runic egg draws a card.
If you get those 2 eggs out with a few other minions, even if they're just 1/1 or 2/2 Jade Golems, they usually will not trade the eggs because they don't want you to get the benefits from them, and they think 0 attack minions. I'm not threatened by them, so I'll have a board with 3, sometimes 4 eggs, and because of my Raven Idol, I've gotten a 3rd Savage Roar. And turn 9, triple Savage Roar kills just about anybody.
Yep. That's true. So, all right.
And I say turn 9. I mean 9 mana, which could likely be turn 5.
Yeah. All right. So, Versika, now that you've had time, now that you've played around with it, what do you think is your favorite aspect or mechanic now going into the new meta?
There's a lot of good stuff that has come out of this expansion, but I think so far my favorite from both a player standpoint and from a watching standpoint, and watching streamers and just playing against my opponent, is what happens when Kazakus hits the board. Not knowing what those potions are on the other side makes it very hard to play against. Getting to picking through the potions on my side and planning out those next 2 or 3 turns when I'm going to be using said potion is fun. But then watching it on stream when some of these guys do it, it's fun, and it's fun in a different way than it was fun watching Yogg, and it's fun in a different way than watching Rag, because yes, it's random, but there's an element of control to that random, and you get to use the potion. And sometimes you're not going to get the potion you want. Sometimes you're not going to get the effects that you want, but you can manipulate the board state, or you can manipulate how and when you play that potion in a way to make it useful. I think it adds an element to the game that really wasn't there before, and that's giving you something powerful, which wasn't necessarily what you expected to get, and then you trying to find a way to use it. And I really like that. I think that is good. I think effects like that are good for Hearthstone.
Okay. Zero?
I think now that Mean Streets has come out, they've kind of thrown out a lot of mechanics that involve doing things with your hand and doing things with your deck and doing things with your opponent's deck. And even in the case of Dirty Rat, doing things with your opponent's hand. I really like that aspect of the game. It's really drew me into loving Magic the Gathering back in the day when you could really manipulate your opponent's hand, make them discard cards, get rid of their graveyard, search for specific cards in your deck. And I like that Hearthstone is kind of going that direction. They're not doing it so much that it's bothersome. There's only a few cards here and there that do it, but I think it's enough that it brings a lot of intrigue into the game that I think really is needed for the esports. Mm-hmm. I like it when you have a card that keeps the casters on their toes, and the caster go, "Oh, Dirty Rat, what card's going to be discarded? Oh, how are they going to handle if the Malagos pops on the board? Oh, it did pick the Malagos. Oh no, they're going to have to, oh, they just pulled this crazy thing out of nowhere that we didn't think of." I love that type of environment. How does a card like Weasel Tunneler affect a tournament match? Mm-hmm. You know, you might not think a big deal that the Weasel Tunneler died on turn 3, but then when that Freeze Mage needs to top deck that last Fireball and there's 2 cards in their deck, and they draw the Weasel Tunneler instead, this really going to affect the outcome of tournaments. And I'm just excited for that kind of variation in competitive play.
Yeah. So
real quick, there's 2 cards I'm really going to miss, and I wish we had more time with them in this expansion, and that's Gang Up and the Ambush, one Beneath the Grounds.
The Grounds.
Yeah.
Because I feel like finally there's an environment where these cards are starting to see their potential, but we're only going to get 4 months with them.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. One of the things we're going to talk about next week when we do that rogue deck is the Gang Up synergy with, say, patches, and there's just a lot of really cool stuff that you can do, and we'll talk about that on next week's show. But
2 hours, by the way.
Yeah,
I had that combo 2 hours after we opened the packs.
He did. So, all right, but I want to talk about Ducharmo in chat. Just ask a question, and we touched on it briefly last week because I remember cracking a joke on air about I want Jim Raynor to be my hero, and his question was, why do you guys think they dropped the Heroes of Warcraft from their title? Do you think it's to open the game to expansions outside of the Warcraft universe, or do you maybe think it's so that they can go on to create their own story? Personally, I feel like that Hearthstone is pretty established now. People kind of know what it is, and while I think it would be cool if maybe they opened it up to the rest of the Blizzard universe, I don't think they're going to. I think it's going to remain based in the Warcraft universe. And I do think it's so that they can do like they're doing now with Gadgetzan and kind of create their own story. Because they've really kind of veered from the Warcraft storyline and are building their own universe now. Yeah. Yeah, so they're kind of building on their own universe now, and I love seeing how it's changing things because Gadgetzan's just this really small little town with maybe 8 or 9 buildings in the middle of the desert, and now
not even.
Yeah, and now in Hearthstone, it's this sprawling, city that's the size of Stormwind, right on it's just amazing to see what they're doing with the canon that we know and love, and how they're adapting it for this game.
It's Azeroth's Gotham is what it's become.
Well, and that's the thing is that if you keep the Heroes of Warcraft moniker, then it locks you in. It's like trying to write fiction inside of the Star Wars universe before Disney said, okay, all that's gone. You were very hand tied in certain events, and you couldn't do certain things because these other things had to happen later. Well, you've got WoW over here, and then you want to make this expansion in Hearthstone, but Gadgetzan isn't big enough. But you really want to use Gadgetzan because you got this really great idea, but Gadgetzan, alas, is only 8 buildings. So by separating it, you can have a Gadgetzan that is a sprawling, seedy underbelly in Hearthstone, and you can have normal Gadgetzan, which no one ever visits anymore in WoW. The other thing is one of the challenges Heroes of the Storm has faced is trying to balance the different games against one another, because the ability sets and the flavor of the characters are so unique, and trying to mesh them all together is very difficult. And I think in a game that isn't quite as dynamic as Heroes, such as Hearthstone, it becomes even more difficult to allow those characters to keep their flavor and maintain their semblance of strength and power and individuality and uniqueness, with balancing how they're going to interact against other classes that are already existing. Like right now, it's going to be very hard for them to even add Death Knight Monk or Demon Hunter to this hero pool. Can you imagine what would happen if you had to add Raynor, Tychus, and Kerrigan, or Raynor? I mean, just adding a Terran, and then suddenly you've got to make sure each race is represented. Then you got to bring Diablo in, and it opens up a different can of worms. That it's just at that point it becomes so hard to manage the balance of the game that you're no longer able to concentrate on content and flavor. You're having to make sure that you're making the fans of all the individual games happy and keeping true to those fan bases and true to the stories. And that just, the more you add to it, the more difficult it becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't see them adding other Blizzard games in his cards, because what do? You put pylons under what class? Are they just neutral, or would they be shaman? Would they be mage? You know, what about Diablo? Oh, what would you do with any of the Diablo monk or crusader? It just seems a little out of place. So I don't think they'll do that. I do think they're trying to branch out their own world. If you look at Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, there's only a few cards in there that are referenced from World of Warcraft. Rathion was in World of Warcraft. Mm-hmm. I believe Madame Goya has been referenced during Pandaria as a very small role. Noggenfogger has been referenced in the past. And I think that's it.
Goya is the head of the black market. So you actually go into the sewers of Dalaran and go talk to her and find out what they're selling on the black market. She used to be in the Grand, up in Circle of Blood, I think, up in like the top left-hand corner of the map.
Yeah.
Well, she also was in the steppes of Pandaria.
Yep.
She had her own little hut there right outside of Rathion, and she had guards around her for the black market auction house there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are a couple characters that are referenced from Warcraft, but that's it.
We do know we are getting a Diablo-esque tavern brawl in early January.
Did they specifically say it was going to be Diablo-esque? I know there is a tavern brawl that has a chalkboard that kind of references Diablo.
Well, so here's what I have read, is that you are going to have the secret cow level, basically, where it's going to be a bunch of Taurens, and the whole point of the tavern brawl is going to be these hell bovine. That when it's death rattle, return to your put this card in your deck when it dies, and then it just kind of spins out like this.
Endless cows.
Yeah, so it looks like they're kind of trying to go a little bit off to this side, and from what has been data mined, if it's correct, it will earn us that special 4th card back that was shown beside the 3 Gadgetzan race.
But see, that's not bringing in Diablo into Hearthstone. That's just theming it out as a promotion. Because Diablo, I believe, has hit or is about to hit their 20th.
Yeah, and that's this is tied into that promotion.
So I'm okay with stuff like that. If they want to make a whole thing for StarCraft where your deck's filled with pylons, and so I mean, it's, and basically they're those little mana geo type minions. I'm okay with the cross promotion stuff, using unique cards that are just available for that brawl or whatever, or maybe a special type of adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to see competitive cards that are outside of the Warcraft theme, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, speaking of Tavern Brawls, let's talk about this week's Tavern Brawl. This week's Tavern Brawl, I believe, is a new one. I don't remember seeing this before. It's called Double Death Rattler Battler. Death is not the end, because minions with Death Rattle now rattle twice. So,
I don't ever remember seeing this before.
Yeah,
Could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure this is a new Tavern Brawl. Nibble Swap in chat says it's happened once before.
Okay.
But
Must have been a while ago.
yeah, but it's really kind of cool. I haven't gotten to actually play it yet. I've been watching and reading a lot of what people are playing. I've heard that interactions with Baron Rivendare don't work.
Nope,
That's
don't.
correct. You know what?
I confirm that.
I vaguely remember this Tavern Brawl now, and it was confirmed then that Baron Rivendare doesn't work. And anything that affects death rattles doesn't work. It's pretty. I liked this one. It was fun. It's some of the competitors I played against didn't seem to be going with the theme of it, and I believe Versika will talk about that some more with his experience. But I liked being able to do this Tavern Brawl with some of the new death rattles that have come out. I know the Weasel Tunneler I tested. What's neat about the Weasel Tunneler is it specifically states death rattle, put this minion into your shuffle this minion into your opponent's deck. So when he dies, he goes to your opponent's deck, and then his death rattle goes off again and goes back to your deck. So your opponent never gets him. I had one game where I put out 6 different Weasel Tunnelers because I just kept drawing them to turn right after he died. So it made for a lot of fun, especially with all of the Hunter Death Rattle minions that make more minions, and Nerubian eggs were ridiculous with this.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun. I had fun. I finished my Hunter quest with it, and that's a good thing.
Well, my daily is win 3 as a priest, so this may not be the place for me.
I don't know. Museum Curator might be good.
Museum Curator's a battle cry.
Oh, I know,
Right,
but he gives you a death rattle.
Oh yeah, he gives you a death rattle, but yeah.
Come on now.
I was just thinking of death rattle minions,
I have Black Paul. Well, not for priest. But.
Sludge Belcher gives you 2 1/2
Yep.
taunts. So yeah, lots of good fun to be had here. So Versika, have you had a chance to play the Tavern Brawl yet?
No, I have. We talked about this before the show.
Well,
I tilted hard. I'm not always a fan of the Tavern Brawls because I'm not necessarily a fan of random as much as quite a few other people are. But one of the things that I really don't like is when you completely ignore the essence of the brawl. And in this case, people are in there trying to experiment with the mechanic of the brawl and to have a good time because it is a casual mode.
Yeah.
So played 4 games. No, I played 5 games. 4 straight GVG style face hunters. 0 death rattles. Why? Why would you even do that? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Nibble Swap was saying that he faced a pirate warrior in there. This is not the place for those decks. And I'm of the opinion, get your pack and get out. That's just, is taking the fun out of this mode, and it is a fun mode.
I may work on getting my pack and getting out after the show then, because like I said, I've not had time to play it yet. Had a lot going on today, so
it was fun, but like Rasika said, I faced a lot of zoo, and I'm talking like the news Demon Zoo, where the only death rattles is the librarian that lets you draw a card.
Gotcha.
That's the only death rattles. So why run that deck? And it was a stock deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I beat it, but it's like, why?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's talk about this week's deck, because we talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the show. This is one of the new Jade Golem Shaman decks, and I was out there looking for something fun to play. I wanted something new, and I just happened upon Eloise as she was playing it, and it just looked like she was having a lot of fun with it. And I got to looking at it, and I really liked the look of this deck list. And in fact, I actually took it and, like I said earlier, gave it to Versika because, he's our resident shaman guy. And I was like, go play around with it, make any changes you want to, and then get back to me with it. And messaged him yesterday, and he was just like, yeah, no, I didn't make any changes to the deck list. So,
well, not to the one we were going to be showing. I do have my version of this that I have been playing that's a little bit different, but I didn't change much.
Okay.
But this is what she was playing. It works just fine, so I didn't see any point in changing the list around so we could give her full credit for this is her list, this is what she was playing, and if what we play here isn't enough for you, you can go back and check her VODs on Twitch, and you can see her play this deck list.
Yeah. All right.
I actually played this deck. I had to sub out White Eyes because I didn't get him yet because I'm not lucky with pack openings like Avanti's. And I put in 2 Lotus Agents, which I had to craft one because, again, I'm not lucky with pack openings like Avanti's. I like the deck. I don't think it's my style of shaman. I think it's too much in the middle. I've never been good at kind of a mid-rangey style shaman, and this one's not as mid-range as the mid-range shaman you've seen, which is, in my opinion, more aggro. This is a little bit more controlling. This is what I was saying earlier, how the meta is kind of shifting the mid-range in one direction or the other, and I really like that.
Well, let's actually run the deck list down before we talk about how it plays, because our listeners haven't heard the deck list yet.
That's right. That's right. Getting ahead of myself.
So, all right. The deck list itself is 2 Lightning Bolts, 1 Spirit Claws, 1 Blood Mage Thalnos, 1 Doomsayer, 2 Flame Tongue Totems, 2 Jade Claws, 2 Maelstrom Portals, 2 Totem Golems, 1 Brand Bronzebeard, or as Espo says, Brand Bronzebeard. You got 2 Hex, 1 Lightning Storm, 2 Mana Tide Totems, 2 Jade Lightnings, 2 Jade Spirits, 2 Azure Drakes, 1 Lotus Agent, 1 White Eyes, 1 Aya Blackpaw, and 2 Jade Chieftains. So what drew me to this was the use of White Eyes, Aya, and then the Jade stuff, because I was really looking for something to utilize the new cards when I wanted to build this. So, Zeroshio, back to you. It being more of a mid-rangey deck, why don't you kind of talk a little more about it?
Yeah, I like how they've kind of taken that mid-range kind of tempo style of shaman that was out there and slowed it down towards the control. This isn't quite control. I have played a list that's actually done by Kriparian. It's a little more control. It has the new Hosen Healers, that heal for 6 health and has a lot more control in it. And it actually doesn't run hexes at all. It's more just board wipes, and actually uses devolve to get rid of those death rattle effects like Sylvanas or Aya Blackpaw. But I really like this deck. Now, there is no better feeling than your opponent throwing down Rat Pack and Dirty Rat and getting your Doomsayer. It is the best feeling in the world, especially if they can't trade to get rid of it, or they have to then use a key card like a Shadow Word Pain or some other card to remove your Doomsayer that they put into play. It's very satisfying, and it's a lot of fun. I've considered kind of merging the two decks and taking this deck and maybe throwing in some text, like taking out the hexes and putting in Devolve, because that's almost like, in some cases, if you can do it right, it's like multiple hexes at one time.
Okay, interesting. So, Versika, you've had a chance to actually play this for a little while now. Why don't you give us your thoughts on how the deck plays? What are you looking for in your mulligans and things like that?
So, I'll go over what I consider the key cards in the deck. The first key card in the deck is Bran Bronzebeard. You have to be patient with him and play him at a time when you can play something that is going to create a Jade Golem. Important fact to note, his ability does also work with your Jade Claws. So,
I didn't know that.
Yes, so your Jade Claws Battle Cry, and it being a 2 cost, you can conceivably get 2 golems out of your Jade Claws on turn 5. If you're in a place where you feel like you need a little more board presence, his 4 toughness allows him to clear a little early. Or if you're playing against somebody that you know he's going to get cleared right away, sometimes you can wait too long to play Bran, and by then you've lost the ability to really create that board presence with your Jade. So knowing when and having a feel for when to play him is really important. The other sort of unsung hero of the deck is actually Lotus Agents. So when I started tinkering with this deck and kind of working my own stuff in, I actually teched out Lotus Agents, only to put them back in later because of the surprise factor. Because Lotus Agents pulls from all 3 classes that they are a part of, it's not uncommon to get something like a Savage Roar or Starfall or Cold Blood or Vanish, which I actually pulled out of one that ended up winning the game against a Wall Warrior. So the Lotus Agents isn't necessarily a turn 5 play. It's something that I kind of keep in my back pocket for when I need something that I don't immediately have an answer for. Aya Blackpaw is Aya Blackpaw. One of the things that I have noticed is you either need to play your Jade Golems early and often, or you need to let them waste removal on other things and then start really pushing the Jade afterwards. So I put it, it's kind of like BC and AD, but in this case it's before Blackpaw or after Blackpaw. You just decide which way that you want to go with it.
Nice.
Now, when I made changes, I did make a few changes because I found that I was going up against a lot of Jade Druids, which is a tough matchup for this deck. So what I did was I actually took out the Lightning Bolts, replaced them with Lava Shocks. And then I took out 1 Mana Tide Totem, and I took out 1 Maelstrom Portal, and put in 2 Elemental Destructions.
Gotcha.
Important thing to note is if you are playing that route, and that's the deck style that you're going to be playing, know that you are in for the long haul, and you cast Elemental Destruction and Lava Shock in the same turn.
Right, to free up your mana crystals for the next turn.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, I'm excited to see this deck get played. Any last thoughts about this deck or anything we talked about on today's show, Zeroshio?
I just want to tell people that Mean Streets of Gadgetzan is fun. Get out there, play an arena. I've been playing a lot of arena with my gold instead of just buying packs, and the arena meta is so on its heels right now that you can get, if you're normally a good maybe a 3-win arena player, you can likely get 5-6 wins because everybody else is experimenting with the new cards and making sure to pull them and not really thinking about their deck. They're just wanting to try the new cards, and you can get a higher win rate than you normally do. I know the very first day I did my first arena run and drafted what I thought was a very horrible hunter deck because I'm trying all the different classes in arena because I want to try them out, and I got 7 wins on my first run, and it really was a horrible deck, and a lot of it was because a lot of players are just picking cards from the new set just to see how they work, and I can focus my play into good, sound decisions and pull off a win.
Okay.
So try arena out and have fun with Mean Streets.
Awesome. All right, Versika.
All right, 2 things. First, if you haven't tuned into the stream that Zerocho has been doing on the weekends, where he kind of combos with one of our listeners, Dusharmo, and they kind of go through some arena matches, that's actually it's a really fun stream to watch. I've been trying to host it on my channel as well, so if you're following my channel, you can see it as well. I'm not sure, are we hosting it on the ECMMO channel yet?
Yes. Oh, it has been.
Yeah, it should.
I think it's set up for auto
host. Yeah.
And we're trying to do that. We don't have a schedule for that, but we're trying to do it on Sundays.
Yeah.
If both of our schedules permit, with holidays coming up, it probably won't be every Sunday.
Okay.
Now there's some volume issues that I'm sure we're going to be working out where one's louder than the other, but it's something that is going to be fixed later on down the road.
Yes.
But for right now, just enjoy the stream for what it is, because it is actually a really fun and interesting stream to watch. The second thing I wanted to mention was this past weekend we met up with the guys down at Level Up Games, and we painted the space that we use to do our firesides and our prelims, and the space looks fantastic. We got there, Avanti's was there with us, and then the owner and his father showed up, and actually the owner, Steven, wasn't feeling well, but he still showed up and still, gave it his all, and it was fun and interesting getting to kind of talk to them outside of an environment where we were having to talk business all the time and just kind of get to know them. So, we know that they're great people, but to actually get in there and have that interaction was great. But the reason that I'm bringing this up is that we do have a fireside on the 18th. Come in and check it out. The space looks so much bigger than it did before, and it's going to be a fun time. And it's one of those things where I think you'll be shocked when you come in. It really doesn't look like the same place. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm excited for the fireside on the 18th. I'm also excited for our fireside on the 17th. So, guys, we got a lot of Hearthstone coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we got a whole lot of Hearthstone next month in January. We've got 2 Tavern Hero qualifiers in the Knoxville area. And if you are not in the Knoxville area, we do have our Hero Power Invitational Patron Tournament. We have finally set a date for that. It's going to be on Saturday, January the 28th. And we'll probably start, we're still working on that, but it'll probably start around noon Eastern. We have enough time to get all the rounds in throughout the day. Because, guys, I'm really stoked. We've had such a burst in interest in the tournament that we've had quite a few new patrons jump in to want to play. It's to join the tournament, all you have to do is be a patron at the $5 level, and bam, you're automatically into the tournament. Right now, we've got about 14 guaranteed spots already in.
Cap is 32.
The cap, we will cap at 32 if we hit that point, but we are just super, super excited. Can't wait for that tournament. It's going to be live streamed on our channel. It's going to be shoutcast by these two yahoos, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Now,
speaking of which, we got to get some practice in, Zero.
I don't need practice talking. Come on,
it's coming. It's coming.
Just as a reminder, if you are a $5 patron, even if we go over 32, 32 is our limit right now, and if we go over 32 $5 patrons, we'll raise our tournament limit. But if you're at the $5 patron level, you will get a guaranteed spot. We'll be sending out Battlefy details through Patreon through
our Discord. Yeah.
Well, we'll be doing it through Patreon, so that it goes to all the $5 and higher, so that you can register and let us know if you're going to be attending or not. And then once we get the confirmation from all of those patrons, we will open it up to all of our under $5 patrons to hopefully fill up that tournament.
Yeah. So super excited, can't wait. All right, with that said, let's play this deck. So guys, if you're joining us on Twitch or YouTube, stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast, and you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show or you would like to play in the tournament next month, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And as always, we'll see you again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty, so while we get this set up, Versika, why don't you tell us a little more about Vi-Force?
All right, so we talked a little bit about the top of the show, how I'm anxiously awaiting my Vi-Force machine. So, good news. When I get it, I'm actually going to do a unboxing video where I'm going to talk about, the changes that I had asked them to make to the machine. We're going to plug it up, take a look at the setup and everything, so you guys can see just how awesome they are to work in the way that I asked them to work it in. So, ViForceGaming.com, go to their products page. It'll lay out the 4 systems that they have right now that are stock. Now, those systems, you can make any changes that you want to them as long as those parts are available. Now, it'll modify the price one way or the other, but one of the things that I didn't think about when we first got in is, well, let's say that you don't necessarily use disk anymore, so you don't need a disk drive. You can remove the disk drive and upgrade your RAM. So there's, as you make those changes, the cost will fluctuate based on what you want and how you want to get there. So it really is truly as versatile as you can get. So once again, ViForceGaming.com, if they don't have what you want, or you already have an idea of what you want as a machine, you're a tech guy, you've already kind of figured it out, then go to the Contact Us page, or go and contact them about creating your own, and they will walk you through the process of what you need to do to create your own machine. And then from there, you can ask all the questions you want. They'll give you all the answers that they want, or all the answers that they can, and it'll get you on your way. So once again, I'm excited to be able to say this. Do what I did. Go to ViForceGaming.com and upgrade your rig. Now's the time to do it. It's holiday time. Tax time's coming up, so not a better time. You can finance it. You can pay for it right then and there. You have flexibility. There's nothing about this that isn't flexible, so take advantage of it while you can.
Yep, that's awesome. See Me No More in chat says, we were talking about Patreon. He says, what if you use Raza? Does it make your hero power free? Unfortunately, Patreon is immune to Raza. Sorry, we tried. So, all right, are you ready to rock and roll, Versika?
I'm finding opponent now. Willing to bet it's going to be a worthy opponent.
They haven't done a show in a while, fortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, too soon?
Too soon.
I miss those guys. They're awesome.
All right.
I wish they would implement a favorites so you could put all your favorite people on the top.
Yep, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Like in the client. I know they do it in the BattleNet, but in the actual client.
Yeah. Hey, look at that! It's a warrior. Who would have known?
Yeah, imagine that. Okay, so Spirit Claw's Blood Mage is actually really good to have in the opening hand. Probably not what I want for this if it's Pirate. If it's the more mid-rangey hand buff, it's exactly what I want. So at 15,
I haven't seen the mid-rangey hand buff at all.
You know, I don't 16 and under, but at 16 they started trying to keep it kind of creeping up, and when I was playing in the 15s, they were there too. I'm going to go ahead and say it's a 50-50, so I'm only going to pitch Brand Bronzebeard back.
Okay, I like that.
Okay. I would like to keep Bran for if it's face, but because they'll make them clear. But I can understand that. Yeah, that makes sense.
And what we're hoping for is a Maelstrom Portal or a Lightning Storm.
Oh, ask
Portal
and you shall
That
receive.
is better than Bran. I will agree.
All right.
Golem. That's another good one.
So one of the things that we were able to do in the previous meta is we were able to pop that Spirit Claws out turn 1 and not really have to worry about it till turn 5. But with all the Pirate Warrior and Rogue Pirate right now, then it's just not uncommon to see an Acidic Swamp Ooze on turn 2, and he's got the coin, so he could actually get it out on turn 1. So I'm going to wait and hold off on the Spirit Claws until I can put it down with Blood Mage, or until I need it.
That sounds
I'm just
good.
going to go ahead and pass the turn.
And I check in Bloodcell Corsair in my Pirate Warrior. So that's a common, and I've seen a lot of others do it. That's commonly in there, and that's good weapon room.
Cthulhu Warrior?
So we're playing Cthulhu Warrior.
Maybe we should have thrown out the Spirit Claws. Ooh. But Totem Golem's still good.
Yeah, we'll play Totem Golem.
What? What? Well, did somebody forget the Mean Streets came out? So they're like, I'm just gonna hop on and play my Cthulhu Warrior. Surely nothing's changed.
All right, so he just armored up on turn 2 and attacked face with his Beckoner. So we've got 2 mana now on turn 2. What do you think about clearing his Beckoner and running out Blood Mage?
Actually, what I'm thinking of doing is I am going to clear out the Beckoner with the Totem Golem, but I think we should probably just go ahead and throw the other Golem out. Next turn, that'll leave us with Blood Mage Thanos and Spirit Claws, so we can still use the Spirit Claws and Blood Mage in the same turn.
Yep.
This gives us a better board presence, and that way we don't really have to worry about overloading going into turn 5. Because if we've not drawn anything else, we will probably need to use the Lotus Agents to try and see if we can get some kind of Jade something.
Okay, I like that.
So this gives us a pretty defined turn 4 and a pretty defined turn 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I could really see him coining out the 4/2 Divine Shield. I forget the name of that card now, but
Cthulhu's Chosen.
Yeah, I could see Cthulhu's Chosen coming out this turn on a coin.
Armor up. Shield Slam? Yep.
Shield Slam.
Wow. That is gorgeous. I love seeing that with our golems, because that's one less Shield Slam he's going to have. I haven't seen Control Warrior at all since the new release.
And you know, I don't think there's any reason to keep Maelstrom Portal back to use with Blood Mage. We do still have the 2 Azure Drakes.
I like the idea of using it to pop Chosen Shields.
Right, but I can do that with Spirit Claws without Blood Mage. The reason why I'm saying is I can throw Blood Mage out this time and get a little bit of pressure and pull that armor down.
Yeah,
so I'm thinking Blood Mage into Spirit Claws and send the Claws and the Totem Golem face.
I like that.
The other option is to throw out the Flame Tongue Totem.
What about just hero powering here?
We can hero power.
We need to clear the armor though.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that we may have I'm going to go ahead and clear him down to 0 armor. I hate to use a charge on the Spirit Claws, but if you let him armor up too much, he's going to get out of control because and there we go. So Cthulhu's at 10, so which means right away that on turn 6, he's going to have 10 armor that I'm going to have to deal with.
So, clear. What do you think about clearing the? Yeah, clearing the shield and then Blood Mage Maelstrom Portal.
Yeah, I'm going to clear it with my face.
We could just Flame Tongue and run the Taunt Totem into it.
We could do that, yeah.
After we clear the shield.
Yeah,
with our face.
Not a very good.
That leaves you 3 mana. You could hero power.
We don't really have a great. Like, we're not going to be able to use our mana efficiently this turn.
And we may bait out a brawl.
Another reason why I wanted to play the Blood Mage earlier.
Yeah.
It kind of forces us into this play. I don't really care for it, but so we're going to play the Flame Tongue Totem. We'll Maelstrom Portal to knock the shield down.
Okay.
And we'll throw the totem in. We'll hit face, pass the turn.
Okay.
This could bait out a brawl. I think it's kind of a small board for a brawl. Well, there's Disciple. Okay.
Go wish Max Box good luck as he is now playing against Amnesiac.
Fun. I actually played Neobility and Astrogation this weekend.
What do you think about playing the agent here and picking off the 2/1 with your weapon?
I think what we probably need to do is go ahead and start working on some of that Jade synergy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we'll do is we'll throw out the Jade Spirit on the left side of our Flame Tongue Totem.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and get the Jade Golem up. Then clear with the Murloc.
The totem
Up. We didn't get the Spell Power Totem. If we'd gotten Spell Power Totem, we'd go to face to clear that armor. But without it, I don't want to waste the charge on Spirit Claws because I don't have a Jade.
Okay.
I don't have Jade Claws yet.
Okay.
But as soon as I get those, I'll start using the Spirit Claws a little more recklessly.
Well, there's your Jade Claws. And he has Sylvanas on the board.
Yeah, in my version, I teched in Devolve kind of for the Death Rattles. This deck has a little trouble with Sylvanas. How do you plan to deal with her?
I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flood the board.
Okay.
And then from here, I'll make her take something. I have a pretty good chance she's going to take something that I don't really want her to take. So I think what I'll do here is Jade Chieftain, just to put as many bodies on the board as possible.
Well, you get the same number of bodies if you Lotus Agent Blood Mage.
Right, but then I run the risk of him taking the Blood Mage.
Chat says, why not just go face?
I could go face.
Make her
run into the taunt, which is
what I won't kill her.
About. Right.
So
it allows me a little bit of flexibility next turn.
Yeah.
And now we'll wait and see if he brawls here.
I think what he'll probably end up doing is either brawling or he'll Sylvanas into that and then slam. Oh, no.
Twin Emperor.
Yeah,
We're actually really okay with this.
Yeah, because we just drew Jade Lightning.
And I'll tell you why. It's going to enable us to clear a lot of this board.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing us to really determine what she's going to get to take.
Okay.
By doing this, I can run my 7/5 into Sylvanas, so she's going to take either a 3/3 or an 0/3.
Which we could
then I'm
Jade
going to
Lightning
use
either
my
one.
Jade Lightning to clear.
That's awesome. That's a really good line. I didn't think of it.
And hero power.
So
I like
actually,
that line.
when he played Twin Emperor, it gave us an out.
Yeah.
Yep, because it gave us something to run stuff into. I think
it
that
also
might have been a misplay.
Yeah, it also really devalued his brawl.
Yes. Now he probably has a brawl just eating up a spot in his hand. Ooh, execute? Is he going to waste execute on a Jade Golem?
Fiery War Axe on the Flame Tongue. And that's okay, because once again, devaluing the brawl.
Yep. So do we Lotus Agents here, or do you want to go for the safe Azure Drake draw?
I think the draw is better. And the reason why is because we want to, at this point, put as many minions on the board as possible, because that the Lotus Agents has a chance to draw Savage Roar.
Okay.
Or Bloodlust. I've had to draw Bloodlust too. And there's our brand.
Ooh, that's going to be great with Lotus Agents.
Yes.
So we use this to clear that armor off. So now he's got a choice.
Well, that's good.
He's got to take this golem this turn if he wants to take it.
Yeah, because we got the healing totem, which healed the golem up to 4/3, and it will heal it to 4/4 next turn.
Right, but I've got two spell powers on the board and another Jade Lightning in my deck. Plus, I've got 2 lightning bolts. He doesn't know about the 2 lightning bolts, but chances are probably pretty good. He knows I've got another Jade Lightning.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So he was taking out our Azure Drake.
Man, I wish we were drawing the Maelstrom Portal, try to get him to overdraw some. Well, no, most we could have done is 9.
So we're going to play Bran and Lotus Agents to get 2
Lotus
cards.
Agents. Yep.
So we'll
go ahead.
Fan of Knives is not terrible.
Fan of Knives. And prep.
Prep Fan of Knives right now.
Ooh. Yep. Let's say Thalnos, that clears the entire board.
Yep.
Yep.
Now he has to brawl.
And that's okay because now we've got the Chieftain.
Yep.
So as soon as he brawls, we're able to get right back into the board.
And if he brawls, we'll likely get a card draw with Blood Mings Thalnos. So that
there's the brawl.
gives us. And I played a lot of Cthulhu Warriors. Wow. Like the best outcome, 5/3.
Oh, and we drew a Jade Spirit.
Yep. He's gonna waste an execute on that? No. Okay.
No.
Nope, he's gonna armor up. All right, well, good.
So what I'll do here is I'll go ahead and Jade Chieftain just to keep up the board pressure. My hero power. I was hoping for a taunt totem there.
Just go face.
Yeah.
That's all right. Send the Lotus Agent's face.
Yep.
He has another brawler. He almost has to use it.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
There it is.
Why? What? Why did he clear his ghoul?
I don't know, but we got another 5/5 on the board.
Oh, okay. He has an execute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He has to have the execute.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe he doesn't.
No.
He doesn't have the execute.
Doesn't have the execute.
I think
Okay.
he was hoping that minion would stay alive,
I
so he
think
could kill it with the.
you have to Jade Spirit and Maelstrom Portal.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, this gives us maximum board presence.
Oh, Runic Egg. That's nice.
It's actually really good. Yeah, especially if
One thing we found that this deck does well is recover from brawls. So it can build
Yes.
a board
Yeah.
presence very quickly.
he probably has Cthulhu in hand and he's wanting to put it out and do a lot of damage to face and keep it on the board.
And there he
Oh.
goes. Game 1 in the books. I like it.
Yeah, I don't like that. I understand him running in that 5/3, turning it into 5/2, so he could kill it with the Disciple.
Yeah.
But you have a better chance of getting your ghoul to live than that happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just think that was a misplay.
Yeah. Ducharmo in chat says 1 turn, fill up the board.
Yep.
All right, so this time we've got our opening hand is 2 Jade Lightnings, Maelstrom Portal, and Azure Drake. Are we thinking throw everything back?
No, and the reason why is because this shaman's going to be one of 2 different shamans. It's either going to be an aggro pirate shaman, or it's going to be a Jade shaman. So both of the Jade Lightnings need to go back for sure. Azure Drake needs to go back for sure. But if it's the pirate shaman, the Maelstrom Portal is going to be super handy on turn 2.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So I think we throw back the Lightnings and keep the Maelstrom.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. You and your golden goodness.
Okay, so Desharmo asked how this deck fares against the old mid-range shaman. Is it better? Is the question. The old mid-range shaman struggles against this deck. So against it, or in that particular matchup, this is a deck that beats mid-range shaman. I would say 8 out of 10 times.
So our opponent turn 1 patches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stinks.
And that really
golden
stinks for
patches.
Which, by the way, congrats on your golden patches, Avantes. I was super jealous.
Thank you. I was actually been saving up dust because I was going to craft patches. I'm at like almost 1,200 dust, and I was just like, another week or so, I'll have enough to craft him, and then boom.
Yeah, I had to craft. I crafted patches, and I've crafted Aya.
So I think, honestly, we can wait a turn to Maelstrom Portal to see if we can get a little better value out of it. So I think that's what we'll do.
Okay.
I'm not too keen on spending my coin just yet. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see Spirit Claw, Saucy Deckhand.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because that would give us good value for our Maelstrom and devalue the Spirit Claws slightly.
I think we probably took too long to pass that turn. Because I think he probably thought if we didn't have it, it would have been a stat play. I think Totem Golem is the better play.
Okay.
It gives us better board presence. We can still coin into Maelstrom Portal next turn if something happens. But he's not going to be able to clear it without using a spell in conjunction or without dropping a Flame Tongue Totem.
So, one thing that I noticed here with our opponent is he has a Tespa card back, and I've seen very good play out of players with Tespa, and I think it's been because of a lot of these collegiate tournaments that have been popular.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably knows what he's doing.
So I think here it is worth probably using one of our Maelstrom Portals to get that 3 damage off the board. It also will give us a minion on the board, but we're overloaded anyway.
Yeah.
So next turn we'll be able to Jade Lightning the Flame Tongue, and I think that will be the target for next turn. But this gets 3 damage off the board and gives us a minion.
Injured Qualdier.
I'll take that because that forces him to clear. No one in their right mind is going to keep a Dragonhawk on the board, especially when their opponent is Shaman and has a Flame Tongue Totem.
Yeah, you could take out Flame Tongue Totem alone with that.
Or their opponent is Sidonia and the championship's on the line.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or unless you Feral Spirit.
Yeah.
Feral Spirit, a lightning target?
No, we're definitely going to hit that totem. Unless you guys want to try and hero power and get the spell power totem. It's a gamble. It's going to hurt if we don't get it.
Next turn. Well, no, we can't do that next turn.
Next turn is a White Eyes turn.
Yeah, next turn's a White Eyes turn.
Yeah.
So, what are the benefits? Well, if we roll spell power, then we get rid of Flame Tongue, we get rid of the Wrath of Air totem, and we get rid of one of the wolves.
Right.
If we whiff on it, then we're going to take 6 next turn anyway. So either way, we're taking 6 next turn. I would rather go for the chance to do a little more board clear.
I think you're right.
Oh, whiff.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's actually not
that's not bad. Yeah.
No, because he'll have to clear. He'll have to clear the taunt totem, and then he's probably going to want to clear that priestess.
But the priestess will kill either one of those wolves, so you might go after the dragon hawk first.
Yeah, the young dragon hawk. Oh no!
Or his
from portal.
Yeah.
Into another taunt. Well, we could really use lightning storm right about now.
Sure can. And there's the deckhand.
Drew into a hex. So now are we White Eyes still this turn?
He's showing 11 on the board.
I don't know that we can White Eyes. We Jade Lightning the totem, we take 4 off the board.
Yeah.
We Jade Lightning the wolf, we take 4 off the board.
No, you take 2 off the board. Because it'll be replaced by the other. Yeah.
If we White Eyes, we take 6 off the board this turn.
Because it has taunt, unless he has hex. Which he probably does have hex.
Or we can taunt 2 minions. Or hex 2 minions. Which doesn't seem good to me.
No.
But we need to make a decision.
Let's White Eyes.
Yeah. I think he has the hex, but this is the winning play.
Yeah. He still has to get through it, which, unless he uses a spell to assist, he has to send 2 minions through.
Yeah, he has to. If I think he would. Oh, there it is.
Or one.
Yeah.
But still, that's fine. That's that.
And if this is Bloodlust, oh no, it's not.
We're still going to take 7.
Yeah. But we would have taken 11. Actually, we would have taken 14. Oh. But does that save us? I don't think it does. It's not big enough.
Nothing would have saved us.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. That was a tough match.
Yeah. I just like hearing Warriors come out to play.
Warriors come out to play.
All right, so we're 1-1 after 2 games.
Yeah.
Going to game 3.
I still really like this deck. I think there's some refining. I would like to have 2 lightning storms, but it's finding what to take out.
Well, yeah, and that's why I went with the other. That's why I traded out the 4 cards I traded out.
I immediately, when I look at this list, I immediately think, okay, you can probably make do with 1 Mana Tide Totem to put in a second Lightning Storm.
Yep.
That's the first thing that jumps out at me.
And I personally like Devolve over Hex because you're usually hexing a target to get rid of a main effect on it, especially a Death Rattle or buffs. And Devolve does similar.
Devolve would have really helped in that matchup.
It would have.
I don't know that we're going to get a lot of value out of Spirit Claws early here, so I think it can go back. I know it seems really weird to throw Spirit Claws back.
The only benefit you might get is if you turn 1 Spirit Claws and either we get Thalnos or we roll a totem to get rid of Whelpling.
So we were just talking, our opening hand is Spirit Claws, Jade Spirit, and Mana Tide Totem.
So we don't have the coin, so Jade Spirit is definitely going back.
Yeah.
Mana Tide Totem is definitely staying.
You're probably right in ditching the Spirit Claws, but it's one of those flip calls.
Yeah. I think we ditched the Spirit Claws.
But there is an argument for it for Dragon Wellplay. Or
That's
Dragon
okay because we've got Jade Claws, which in the long run is going to be better for us.
Yeah.
In this matchup. Because this is it's definitely going to be a longer matchup, whether it is the Jade
Didn't have the
variety
whelp.
of Reno. And I say here, we go ahead and start our Jade synergy early.
I like
But
it.
if we do, then we're not able to play Mana Tide next turn.
I think that's fine. I think toteming next turn is probably fine anyways.
Yeah, I think so as well. There's no point in wasting a charge to hit him for 2 because that gives him something to do with his mana next turn anyway.
He's probably going to put out the 2/4 taunt. Oh no, going right into turn 3.
Guys, I'm the only one that counts.
Acolyte of Pain. All right.
That's interesting.
Well, it's a card draw engine for him. I have a 1/1 on the board, and he can just keep running it in and healing. At the very minimum, he gets to draw 2 cards this turn, which is what's going to happen because I don't want him to just keep running into stuff and healing.
Well, do we... hold on a second. Do we think there's any merit to letting him draw? Do we think that there's a possibility we can get him to overdraw with that? I mean, he's on the coin and hasn't used it.
He just used it to get this out.
Oh, that's right. He just used the coin.
What about just hero powering and seeing if we get a taunt totem?
We'll just go face. He can either heal the Acolyte or he can heal himself. That gives
that's my thing.
Damage.
Is if he runs in and heals the Acolyte, then that's almost all he does this turn, and he's picking up cards in his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, Cabal Courier.
He's smarter than that.
Cabal Courier.
Yeah.
Don't correct him. I have nothing to laugh at him about if he does that.
If you're playing the drinking game at home, take your
shots.
Okay, so there is very little in this matchup that is there's not very many turns in this matchup where Lightning Storm is good.
Yeah.
This is one of those turns where Lightning Storm is good.
This is about as good as you're going to get with Lightning Storm.
Still going to give him a card.
But, I mean, he would have gotten 2 anyways last turn with the trades. So
Here's the other thing that I'm thinking. Mana Tide Totem, its usefulness goes down every turn we get closer to 6.
True.
So if we're going to play it,
Play
I
it
think
now.
now's the turn to play it.
Because we got our turn 5s lined up.
Right.
And even into 6 with...
I think Mana Tide is the go here, and we'll
do
go
we
ahead and
clear
take out
the Acolyte?
No,
Or
we
clear the
the
Cabal?
Courier.
Okay.
Yeah. That way,
Sounds
he's got to
good.
have a smite to clear the Mana Tide.
Maelstrom Portal. That would be good with Dalnos.
It basically gives us the same play we just had.
Wow, that ate up a Shadow Word Pain. That is great. So he's at 7 cards. If we had a way to do 3 points of damage to it consecutively, 1 damage 3 times. But we don't.
I think the play here is probably Azure Drake because it's a 4/4 and hard for him to manage.
Yeah.
He'd have to entomb it almost because Dragonfire still doesn't kill the Drake, which he couldn't do till turn 6 anyway.
Yeah.
But I think Drake is the play here. You guys agree?
I like it.
Yep.
I think the Lotus Agent's going to be really good for eating up a Shadow Word Death.
Yes.
That would be used on White Eyes or Chieftain.
Yeah, and, I heard Firebat say today that, the best card you could possibly ever play against Priest is Azure Drake. Been causing Priest problem since 2014.
All right, so I think this is obviously now we know it's a Reno Priest. So I think here, I think we start by clearing this board, keeping him from clearing our Drake, and we do that by Maelstrom Portal and Lightning Bolt, and then we play the Manatide Totem, and we facing.
Maelstrom Portal is only going to do 2 damage. Are you wanting to put out the Bloodbane Stalanos as well?
No. I'm only interested in clearing the 5/5.
You could do that with the Jade Lightning.
Yes,
alone.
You could.
Right, but I'm wanting to get more value out of that Manatide.
Okay.
Because we're getting into Cabal Shadow Priest territory, and if that's his only play next turn,
that's fine.
That's a win for me.
I'm cool with that. Oh, 4. Lines up perfect. That puts him at 9 cards.
Because now if he wants to steal my Manatide, now he has to spend a whole turn on it, and I just...
and he can't afford to draw too much.
Right, yeah. I Blood Mage and Lightning Storm next turn if he does that.
Okay.
He hit the 4/3. Excavate Evil? There we go.
That takes up his turn.
That gives us more board clear.
It does give us more board clear.
Which is actually really good. Now do we start generating some Jade Golems?
I think so. I think this is the turn. I say we probably Jade Golem.
Totem.
And Totem.
Because kids at home, don't forget to use your hero power.
See Me No More says there will come a time when Priest is given a kill 4 attack card, and on that day all of Hearthstone will tremble.
You are very, very accurate.
They already have ways to kill 4 attack card combos.
All right, so now I think we just start applying pressure. He's got to get rid of Wrath of Air this turn.
Well, he has a guaranteed heal every turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to do more than 2 damage. Oh.
So what I think we do here is I think we go ahead and Jade Lightning, get this out of the way.
Do we clear the 1/1 with a Jade Claws?
I have a feeling that a Dragonfire Potion is incoming, so I'd say we go ahead and make use of the Spirit Claws while we can, and maybe see if we can brand into Jade Claws here in a minute.
Okay.
That would be cool.
So since you're getting 3 attack from the Spirit Claws, do you want to use the Jade Spirit to clear? Yeah, and then go.
Yeah, because I'm going to Totem.
Gotcha.
In the hopes that I get a Healing Stream Totem. Nope, that's all right though. I have a feeling that this is if he has the Dragonfire Potion, or if he's got Holy Nova, he'll probably use it.
I don't think he used Dragonfire right now because we're only representing 7 damage on the board, and he wants to wait until our Jade Golems are at that
Shadow Word.
There's Shadow Word 4. Oh, created by Cabal
Courier.
I think he's going to wait till our Golems are in that 5 health range.
Probably
4 and 5, and possibly even 6.
So I think here.
Do we Lotus Agent?
I think we Blood Mage, Lotus Agent, and Flame Tongue Totem and try to draw it out.
Okay.
I like that. I like saving the Jade Chieftain
to clear.
Yeah.
And I like the Jade Chieftain for possible brand combo because that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I think this is pretty obviously Sprint.
Yeah.
That wasn't a great.
I'm a Verizon guy myself, but
that wasn't a great.
No. But Sprint has its value. I mean, 4 cards. That's going to eat through a fourth of our deck.
Yeah. It just takes almost a full turn to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as slow as he's going, we probably have the time. I mean, he still has to Reno.
Yeah, Ducharmo, we can probably get a game of Heroes in after this.
I may have to bow out of Heroes.
I'll play 1 or 2 with you. I can't play too many because 4 a.m. comes early, but
I'd love to play, but I got something I have to do after show.
that's scary.
I wonder if this is setting
Not
up the
just scary.
Dragonfire.
So we know he's got a, well,
Ooh,
yeah.
Lightning Storm Maelstrom Portal?
I think that's the play. But there's some merit to sprinting here as well.
We need to clear, though.
We can still
We
clear
can
even.
sprint
even
and
if-
Maelstrom Portal.
We can
Yeah.
sprint and Lightning Storm and clear
Well,
the board. And
If we sprint and Maelstrom Portal, we'll get a minion, and we'll have to use our 2/5 attack minions to do it, but we could do it. Or at least one of them.
leaving a mana on the board.
There's
Or
the brand
Hex.
and a Hex.
Yeah, I think. So next turn, we're most definitely Brand Jade.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so it's got to be Maelstrom Portal because we can't overload.
Yep.
So then we clear here,
That's actually not a terrible.
here, here, here.
That's not bad. The heal from the Mistress of Mixtures might actually prolong us a little bit. Because his health right now is not going to matter. He's going to Reno here shortly.
Yeah. Holy Fire to heal for 5.
Unless,
And Doomsayer.
is this the Shadow combo deck?
It's possible. Alright, so do we want to get rid of that? Or do we want to...
Well, how are we going to get rid of it other than...
I mean,
Do we waste a Hex on it?
Well, no, because if we can go ahead and hit him for 4.
Just let it ride?
And then he's just going to gain it back. Or we can kill this.
How are we going to kill it,
Excavated
though? That's the
evil.
question.
Excavated Evil. He net gains 4 health that way.
But if we excavate evil, we're clearing the board anyways.
yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well just let it die.
Yeah.
Let it kill
I'm just-
everything.
Just talking through the play.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Right,
and
right.
me too. I
Don't
think
know
if you're
what we
wanting
got
a
as far
clean,
as Hex
clear...
talks. So I think
Yeah,
Hex is okay here.
That's what I was thinking. I think Hex is the best, and then maybe Jade Spirit and... Well, if we Golem... The Golem doesn't allow us to do our brand combo.
No, but I played the Jade Spirit anyway in the hopes of drawing out the Dragonfire potion.
Yeah,
Sure.
if we can wait a turn and brand Chieftain.
Yeah. One card. One card.
Which means it was
So you-
not a dragon.
Did not draw a dragon.
That is correct. So he is going to Potion of Madness to kill off the Mistress.
Okay.
Which means we can just run our Totem Golem into Raytheon to clear.
So I'm annoyed that Raytheon
But
not
we can
a dragon.
We could brand Aya this turn.
I think we ran Aya this turn.
I like it. Well, if we brand, I guess it doesn't matter because he won't have any charges on or weapons or anything. Thinking if we brand Chieftain, it protects our brand for Aya next turn. But I guess Priest, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see if we can draw out that Dragonfire potion now, we get a 7/7 Golem on the board.
as taunt.
There it is.
Yep.
19. I was 19. Thank you.
Nice. Oh wait, yeah. This
now
one's
things
8.
start to get
But
ugly.
wait, there's more.
Where's White Eyes? I think we White Eyes. Yeah. This is cray in a good way.
Yeah. Now we're starting to kind of.
So back to my point. Why is Raytheon not a dragon? What's up with that?
Yeah.
This
I
is where he
guess-
has to now.
Yeah, I guess because he's. I mean, I don't know, because he's in his human form. Maybe they'll release a Raytheon dragon card later.
He draws
Oh.
1. He draws 2, which means he has a Murloc or a Beast in the deck. It's probably a Murloc. Do we have lethal?
That's game.
Yep,
That's game.
we have lethal with the lightning bolt.
Yep. Run in White
White
Eyes and your
Eyes,
weapon.
empty golem. Yep.
White Eyes and your
Yep.
weapon, and then run the 2 golems to face and lightning bolt.
That'll do her. I was curious of what else he had. Because we never saw Reno. Did we see duplicates? Didn't we see 2?
No, we
of
saw
the Juggernaut
Raza.
op-
We saw Raza, which meant there was no duplicates in the deck.
Okay, yeah, okay, then that makes sense.
He just never drew Reno. Feels
Or
bad.
stalled out tremendously long.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's gonna
So
do
I
it.
only have 55 games till Golden Shaman. 55.
Oh, you're the
wins.
next golden. You're the next golden guy.
Yeah, 55 wins. I guess I'm going to have to grind that out.
I'm almost halfway there with Shaman. I'm at like 230 something.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess that's gonna do it this week, guys. Why don't let's do last thoughts on this deck. Zeroshio, go ahead.
I like it. I think I would like to change some tech stuff in it to maybe even be more controlly than it is. I like Devolve in place of Hex. I think it does the same thing, but on multiple targets for 1 less mana. You have to choose your Devolve timing perfectly, because if you Devolve a 5-mana minion, it can turn into a Flame Wreath Faceless. So you have to be careful when you evolve, which takes more skill. But try the devolve in the deck. Other than that, just have fun with it. Experiment. If you don't have all the cards, find something you like that you want to play with. It's a really fun time to experiment, and it's not too punishing on ladder because everybody else is doing the same thing.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, Versika.
Yeah, this is a good deck. Like I made changes to make it a little bit more controlly, like Zeroshio was saying, but that was mostly because I was running into a lot of pirate, and we saw the weaknesses of this deck really against a fast pirate deck. Because I mean, there was nothing more than 3 toughness on the board, and I couldn't clear it because this one only runs the 1 lightning storm. I would have struggled to have cleared it even if I'd had the maelstrom back that I had spent the turn before. So, I think there is definitely merit to adding Devolve or to add Elemental Destruction. Just remember that Elemental Destruction, if you get used to playing it, it's going to go away in 4 months. So it's probably better to go ahead and work the Devolve tech in and get used to the timing of Devolve. That being said, I love the graphic on Elemental Destruction, and I'm not worried about being able to make the changeover. So, super excited about next week's deck too. So, I'm going to be playing a lot of that this week, and then I guess after next week's show, I'll start grinding out my Golden Shaman, and I'll probably do most of that on stream because by then, hopefully, my Viforce machine will be here.
There you go. All right. Well, I may have spent the other night completely rebranding my Twitch page. So if you guys used to follow me at Avanti's Gaming on Twitch, that page no longer lives. It is now twitch.tv/AvantisHS, just like my Twitter. And I may try to start doing a little more streaming there. Really had some fun the other day doing it, and I don't have a set schedule because my life is so crazy right now. So a lot of hectic stuff going on. So I can't guarantee how often it'll be, but I may start trying to do some random streams there. Probably be playing Hearthstone mostly, but not exclusively. You guys can probably catch me playing some other stuff there as well. So go give me a follow at Avanti's twitch.tv/AvantisHS. That's going to do it for us this week, guys. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Please hit that subscribe button below on YouTube, or if you haven't done so, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. And for more details about the Hearthstone tournament we're hosting next month, check out patreon.com/heropower. And as always, guys, good gaming.